My name is Ramesh, and I was born in Kenya, in East Africa, and I came here together with my family and my siblings way back in 1971. I was 11 years old. Life in Kenya, I was obviously very young, and at that age, everything seemed very idyllic. It was Kenya is a very beautiful country, tropical climate most of the time, and there was a lot of extended family around. So you were always surrounded by what felt like a big happy family. So Kenya has got very good memories, but I was young, so we came to UK way back in 1971 on a plane. I'd never been on a plane before, so it was quite an experience, and I never wanted to take that experience again because I vomited most of the time. The main reason was really Kenya was undergoing a transition from becoming independent, and my father felt that we had better opportunities by coming to England. He soon found a job, soon meaning 6-7 months. So times were hard when we first came, but the main reason was really for a better future. Before coming to UK and growing up in Kenya, we had, I think, well, certainly I did, a very idealistic viewpoint of United Kingdom, land of milk and honey, and everything was really beautiful. The Europeans, as we called them in Kenya, they had the best houses, they dressed the best, they had the best cars. So it's in my world, it seemed as if we go to England, we'll probably have that sort of lifestyle. As an 11-year-old and coming from Kenya, I think my first memory is getting off at Heathrow Airport. It wasn't called Heathrow Airport, maybe it was, but it wasn't as developed as it is today. And I saw white people picking up suitcases and brushing the floor. That was a bit of a shock. I'd never imagined a white person to be doing that. We had, my father had hired a van because there was about 7-8 of us, and we came to the Midlands where he was based. My father had come earlier than the rest of the family, so he had rented accommodation for us in a place called Coventry, which became our second home. As an 11-year-old and coming to Coventry, it was, we came here in the summer, so the weather wasn't that bad. However, there was quite a few of us staying just in 2 bedrooms with a shared kitchen with another family. And probably the toughest part was there was no facility to have a shower or a bath, as you would call it. Back in Kenya, you had maybe 2 baths per day, 2 showers per day. There was just one outside toilet where we lived. There was one weekly bath that we had to go to what was described as council baths. So that was a little bit of a readjustment that wasn't very pleasant. If I remember correctly, I think Coventry already had some Indian shops, and so the food wasn't the problem because you could buy the spices and so on. If anything, there was a place in Coventry where you could go and pick the chicken that you wanted to have, and they would actually get it ready for you. So it was very, very fresh. Spices, atta, dals, those kind of things were fine. The shock really was when I went to school, and there were these lunches The food was okay, but I did not know how to eat with knife and fork. So I had to be shown and trained as to how to use a knife and a fork. Um, I quite enjoyed the food because it was different from what I was having at home. And I very much liked the dessert part. You had a dessert every day, like apple crumble with custard. So, and I liked the chips as well. So the food was fine, but it wasn't sort of day in, day out. I still had, and every day in the morning we had a paratha. So we were fed, we were used to having a paratha in the morning, school lunch, and then evening time would be a normal meal with chapatis, dals, chicken, and so on. So the food wasn't a problem. Moved down here way back in early mid-90s, early 90s. And the reason for that was really my occupation. I'm a professional optometrist, and I had my own practice even then in the Midlands. But there was an opportunity to maybe join a very big organization called Specsavers. So that brought me to this part of the world. I was the person who opened Specsavers in Poole, Boscombe and Weymouth. So I had 3 practices at the time. It was a very exciting time. I was younger, and life was good. From Coventry, we came to Poole. I was married then. Coventry had a very large population of Asian people, i.e. Indians, Pakistanis primarily, Indians being mainly Gujaratis and Punjabis. So coming here was rather different in as much as you hardly saw any people of colour. There was no, I don't remember even having, I think, an Indian shop at that time. Maybe there was one. I think there was one Pakistani shop where we would go and buy the ingredients. But the best thing was to go and travel to Southall, get the shopping done on a monthly basis, and then just buy what we needed, as little as we did. Yeah. Food was a problem when we dined outside because there was no proper Indian restaurant in the whole of Bournemouth, Poole area. And even today, the food in the Midlands, in the Indian restaurants, was much, much authentic than what we have here. The food here, Indian food, is mainly Bangladeshi, but it's anglicized. It's meant more for the English palate than for the Indian palate. But I think slowly times are changing, and hopefully we'll get what we had in Coventry or the Midlands. Personally, with the sort of people that I moved around with, they were both Indians as well as English people. I think I do not recall that I can say there was discrimination as such. I think the only time would be maybe growing up, as a teenager, you'd go to a nightclub and the girl might say, "No, I don't want to dance." She wouldn't say, "I don't want to dance with you," but you'd have to just go and ask and then sit down and maybe try somebody else. But I wouldn't call that discrimination because they did the same with the white guys as well. I don't think I personally faced open discrimination as such. I married within the Indian culture. My wife is of Sikh faith, but there were problems because I was a Hindu. I am a Hindu, and she was a Sikh. In fact, that problem is probably the biggest discrimination I've faced in my life. That was bigger than any of the white discrimination that I've encountered. My parents didn't agree, her parents didn't agree. There were a lot of obstacles along the way. So coming to Bournemouth helped a little bit because we didn't have to face certain members of the family. I think in terms of marriage, um, some people didn't turn up very close to the family. Um, so it was decided to have more of a court marriage rather than have a big fiesta kind of Indian style wedding. Just to be on, sort of keep it low key rather than make it too grand. Yes, I think that is shown by, if you look at shadi.com, they specify which not only whether it should be one faith or another, but they even go to the caste level. So that problem goes wherever the Indians go. It doesn't go away. And if I can add to that, I think my personal experience that I've seen is that the discrimination that the Indians have amongst each other is probably much worse than what they face with the white community in UK. My personal opinion is that the white community in UK has welcomed, I'm making a generalization, the other communities at large. I was growing up in Coventry, and it was decided that I go and study in Glasgow, in Scotland, which again was a very different experience to living in Coventry, Bournemouth, and so on. The way we were brought up, even in Coventry, my parents and the families that we moved with, the Indians were told, don't rent, always buy if you can. So when I went to Glasgow as a student, we couldn't believe the property prices there because you could buy a flat. So as a student, I think I was maybe 19, 20 years old. I was able to buy a flat with another friend of mine together for £800, one bedroom flat with a lounge, including furniture. And so that was quite amazing.
What year was that?
That would be mid-90s, maybe, no, that's when I came here, maybe late 80s. Yeah, that sort of time. I think personally, I've tried to build bridges wherever they were. To me, people are people, whether they are English or Indian or Jamaican, Pakistanis, whichever community they're from. There's good and bad everywhere. And I think I just get vibes. If somebody wants to meet me, I'll meet them. And I want to integrate with the host community that I live in. I'm quite proud of what Britain has done. There are many things that are not pleasant, but overall, on balance, I think I'm where I am today, and for what Britain has given me. So I feel quite good. There's always going to be some you can't, integrate even in your own family, never mind in your own community, 100%. So I think overall, I've integrated quite well. I think my values are probably integrated, having the best of the Indian values and having the best of the English or the British values. I think we are very fortunate because you can experience both. Everything about Britain is not bad. Everything about India is not good. Why not pick the best of what both has to offer and bring your children, your child, your family, combining the two together. I think probably the most important thing is to have values, have morals, and build bridges. Don't have preconceived ideas. Work hard, be ethical, and have fun at the same time. Live your life responsibly, have responsibilities as well as your dreams. Less selfish, share what you have. There's a very good saying that I love, which comes from the Sikh faith, which is something like this: Naam japo, remember the Almighty wherever you are, whoever you are. Krit karo, work hard, and vandke shako. Share what you have with everybody you can. I'm very grateful for what you're doing and the project that you're doing, and I hope this goes far. I think the other one I was discussing with Issy over there is a lot of what you see in media are generally stories that are giving you the other side. The other side basically meaning they've faced a lot of difficulties with the British host community and so on. My personal experiences are very different. I'm not saying it was all plain sailing, but I think on balance, I've been maybe very fortunate and very lucky. I'm very grateful to the host community that we have.